Welcome back to the crypto channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and today the stock market is pulling back, which is placing some selling pressure on the Bitcoin price. But in just a moment, I'll be sharing a brand new Bitcoin chart that tells us how much longer it could take before the Bitcoin price finally starts flipping more bullish again. This cannot be ignored. Just starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now at the time of recording this video, the Bitcoin price is still trading around that range of support, coming into play at around $29,000 to $30,000 per Bitcoin. And as of right now, we're still yet to see a daily candle close well below 29,000. So in order to confirm a break below this massive range of support, we need to see at least a daily candle close below 29,000, but ideally a weekly candle close below 29,000. But if you're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, like I said yesterday, this 4-hour Bitcoin bullish divergence was starting to wear off because we saw a lower high in the RSI, and basically the RSI has now reversed back into a short-term downtrend on the 4-hour chart. And we've seen something similar in the Bitcoin price as well. Basically, we've just formed a lower high and a lower low on the 4-hour time frame, talking about the shorter term. But once again, this is what I was talking about towards the beginning of yesterday's Bitcoin update video when the Bitcoin price was sitting around here. And now giving you a quick update on these Bitcoin short positions on the Bitfinex exchange, because I also talked about this in yesterday's Bitcoin update video. And just quickly recapping what I said yesterday, essentially when we see a spike in these short positions on this particular exchange, that usually means we're at some sort of local bottom in the Bitcoin price and we're about to see some more bullish price action in the shorter term, especially if we keep seeing the short positions continue to close. And obviously, if you're looking at the Bitcoin short positions on the Bitfinex exchange right now, we still have more room to the downside in the shorts, which basically means the Bitcoin price could trend in the somewhat bullish direction over the next 1 to 2 weeks if we see those shorts keep closing like these previous examples. But if we do not see these Bitcoin short positions go down and instead we see a gradual increase in these Bitcoin short positions, that would basically be the more bearish scenario, because while the short positions are increasing, that is placing an extra selling pressure on the Bitcoin price. But the key word is a gradual increase, because you can see in these previous examples, anytime we see a slow gradual increase in the Bitcoin short positions, at least on this particular exchange, that simply means we're in for some more short-term bearish price action at the very least. And then when we see a rapid increase, a very sharp spike in these short positions, that's how you know we're at some sort of local bottom in the Bitcoin price. So I'm definitely keeping a close eye on these Bitcoin short positions, and obviously I'll update you if anything changes. Now, when you zoom all the way out to the weekly Bitcoin charts, bringing out the 1000-day simple moving average and the 200-week simple moving average, and if you've been subscribed to this channel for longer than a week, you'll know that these two moving averages give us an accumulation range of a lifetime, historically speaking. And for anyone that might be new to the channel, this just means that anytime the Bitcoin price throughout Bitcoin's price history enters in between these moving averages, that has given us the accumulation of a lifetime. Obviously, if you dollar cost averaged into Bitcoin while the Bitcoin price was between these two moving averages throughout Bitcoin's history, you would have done very well not long after these opportunities. And right now, these two moving averages are coming in between 22,000 and 28,000. So basically, in that price range is where I personally am going heavier into Bitcoin, and outside of that price range, I'm just slowly dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin by default. But obviously that is not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I am doing with my own money, and what you do with your money is completely up to you, obviously. And just before I get into this brand new Bitcoin chart, just quickly taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart while we're still on the weekly time frame, because if you're looking at the weekly Bitcoin RSI, we're getting even closer towards oversold territories. Honestly, we are not too far away. And keep in mind, the last time the weekly Bitcoin RSI entered into oversold territories was at the exact 2018 bear market bottom. And in fact, right now, the weekly Bitcoin RSI is trading slightly below the bottom of the March 2020 crash. And as I've already mentioned multiple times recently on the channel, we've seen a massive spike in volume on the weekly Bitcoin chart, which usually tells us the Bitcoin price has either bottomed out after a significant crash or it's very close to the Bitcoin bottom. Like what we saw in the 2018 bear market, we saw that massive spike in volume on that initial crash, and then we saw one more dump to the downside, but it wasn't that much lower compared to that initial drop. And the same can be said about what we saw in the middle of last year. We saw that initial drop down towards 30,000 during May, where we saw that spike in volume, and then we had one more dip to the downside down towards around 29,000, and then we bottomed out at that price. So once again, this spike in volume on the weekly Bitcoin chart tells us that we've either hit the bottom or we are very close to the Bitcoin bottom, historically speaking. speaking. And now when you zoom out to the monthly Bitcoin chart and taking a look at the monthly Bitcoin RSI, this is very interesting because if you're looking at these previous two Bitcoin bear markets, they played out the exact same in terms of the amount of time from a bearish cross in the monthly Bitcoin MACD to the bottom of the bear market. Just zooming in closer so we can see what's actually happening here. This is the 2014 bear market on the monthly Bitcoin chart. Once again, so each one of these candles is an entire month. And if you're looking at the monthly Bitcoin RSI, we saw a bearish cross right here in August 2014, about halfway through the 2014 bear market. And this green vertical line just here is placed at the bear market bottom. In fact, if I just delete that line, you can see the wick that formed the bottom of the 2014 bear market down towards around $160 per Bitcoin. And if you simply measure the amount of time between this bearish cross in the monthly Bitcoin MACD to the bear market bottom, that right there, I don't know if you can see this, but it says 5 bars, which is essentially 5 full candles. And since we're on the monthly chart, that is of course 5 months between the bearish cross in the monthly Bitcoin MACD and the bear market bottom. So that is why I've placed this green line 5 months away from that bearish cross in the monthly Bitcoin MACD, because once again, that marked the bottom of the bear market. And now looking at the next major Bitcoin bear market, which was of course the 2018 bear market. And once again, what we saw here was a bearish cross in the monthly Bitcoin MACD around halfway through the 2018 bear market. And then if I take away this green line just for the time being, so you can actually see the lowest wick in the Bitcoin price during 2018. And if you simply measure the amount of time between this bearish cross and the bottom of the 2018 bear market, that was exactly 5 candles. So 5 months between the bearish cross in the monthly Bitcoin MACD and the bear market bottom. And now looking at the same thing, but in the present day, and this is very interesting because we saw a bearish cross in the monthly Bitcoin MACD back in January this year. And so if you simply measure out 5 months from that time just then, that actually puts us in June, so next month. So when you're simply going off the 2 previous significant Bitcoin bear markets, which were 2014 and 2018, and going off the monthly Bitcoin MACD, we could be around 1 month away from turning around in the Bitcoin price, basically flipping from bearish back into bullish. Now, there's a couple important points to mention here. First of all, we only have 2 previous data points. It's not like we have 100 different examples. So just because this has perfectly played out 2 previous times in the past, it doesn't 100% guarantee anything in the future. And something else to consider is if you're looking at these previous Bitcoin bear markets, it's not like we bottomed out and then immediately went to the moon. For example, at the end of the 2018 bear market, we had around 3 to 4 months worth of sideways consolidation, basically just a somewhat boring accumulation range before then the Bitcoin price began to explode in early 2019. And something similar can be said about 2015 as well. In fact, the entire year of 2015 was a very boring year for the Bitcoin price, because for most of 2015, the Bitcoin price was in a massive accumulation range and then began to explode entering into 2016 and of course 2017. But even though these were very boring times to be involved in Bitcoin, they were by far the most valuable times to be involved in Bitcoin, obviously, because if you took advantage of these accumulation opportunities, obviously you did very well in the coming years if you held on. So that is why I'm still covering Bitcoin every day here on this channel. I'm still dollar cost averaging myself. And like I said earlier, if the Bitcoin price goes any lower, for example, if we dip back into this accumulation range below 28,000 down towards 22,000, for example, then in that scenario, I would personally increase my Bitcoin purchases the lower we go. But once again, that is not financial advice. And just giving you a really quick update on the US stock market today. Obviously today, the Nasdaq 100 index here on the daily time frame has been trading down, and the same can be said about the S&P 500 index as well. Basically, overall today in the US stock market has been a red day. And so as I always say, the stock market and the Bitcoin price are correlated with each other, at least in the shorter term, which means if the stock market sees a pullback, then it's very likely that the Bitcoin price is going to play out some sort of pullback at the very least. And obviously that has been playing out so far in the shorter term today. But zooming out to the weekly time frame, looking at the Nasdaq 100 index, the weekly RSI is actually entering into oversold territories right now. And the last time the weekly RSI for the Nasdaq 100 index got anywhere close to oversold territories was back during the March 2020 crash, which was technically a recession for a few months during 2020. And then if you're looking at the 2018 bear market, we also got pretty close to oversold territories in the weekly RSI. So this is also something to keep in mind moving forward. But whether or not the Bitcoin price goes up, down, or sideways, you can actually keep making money in crypto. And if you want to know how to do that, check out one of these videos popping up right here on your screen, because in both of these videos, I review how I continue to make money in crypto no matter what prices are doing. But anyway, that is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.